Good morning. This is Larry Hayward, pastor of Westminster Presbyterian Church in Alexandria, Virginia. When I was in public school in the 1960s, school sports didn't start until the 7th grade, which was the first year of what was then called junior high school. My favorite sport was basketball, and like a dozen or so other boys, we very much look forward to the start of practice the first day of school. Now, 7th graders were not actually eligible for our own team, but we could make the practice squad to go against and, of course, be overwhelmed by the 8th grade team every day in practice. And if one or two of us were really good, we might be called up to play as a substitute on the 8th grade team. But none of that really mattered. We were going into 7th grade, school sports were starting, and we were having practice. The first day of practice, the 8th graders and the 7th graders were all together, and the 8th graders, of course, practiced the longest. In fact, of a 2-hour practice, it was about 90 minutes before the 7th graders were called onto the court to play defense against the 8th graders. We were so excited. We ran into position on the course. We put our hands up. We moved our feet as if they were hot coals. Our big day had arrived. Within a few seconds of being in place, the coach smiled a very big smile. It was not a mocking smile. It was a kind smile. Guys, he said, settle down. Plant your feet. You look like a bunch of jumping beans that have been spilled out onto the court. We did settle down and we played a respectable half hour of defense against the 8th graders on our first day of practice on the school team. As we're looking forward to resuming normal activities now that COVID is more and more under control and more of the population is vaccinated, we are in many ways like this team that burst onto the court. We are so excited, we want to do it all at once. Have lunch with 15 people, visit 17 relatives in 9 states, go to major league games every night, eat 6 meals a day in restaurants, go to 4 movies and 3 performances at the Kennedy Center, all in one weekend. We want to do it all because we have been doing so little. We're like 7th graders, the first day of practice. Pent-up energy leaves us bouncing like jumping beans. If you follow the New Testament, 2 of the major characters were Peter and Paul. Peter was like a jumping bean. Let's build 3 booths here. I will never abandon you. I am going fishing. Paul, believe it or not, was more deliberate. After his Damascus Road experience, he spent 14 years studying, fermenting in his faith, conferring with others before embarking on his missionary journeys. We're all like Peter right now, but it won't hurt us to be a little bit like Paul. We can't do it all at once. We don't have to do it all at once, but we can start doing it. So be thoughtful. Be safe. Don't forget your worship. See you soon in church.